Okay, we're having the East Chaladonian Trading Company versus the fancy Maenad Ryders.
Indeed, and I saw a fair chunk of ship switching there, so we may see some new kit being brought out.
This is most certainly going to be an interesting map for them. It's probably one of my favorite. It's just you can swap from long range, there's close range areas. There's a lot of high cover, a lot of cover, a lot of cloud cover. It's a really interesting map to fight on, or to fly on, whatever you prefer. Look, let's start with the ships. For the East Chaladonian Trading Company, we have the Eternal Moth. I hope I pronounced this correct. It's piloted by Mirvan, if I pronounce his name correctly. It has a Banshee and a Gatling gun on the front, and on the side it has a Banshee and a flare cannon. For their second ship, is captained by Captain Scroatbeard. It's a Watcher fish with a carronade and a Banshee, or Gatling gun, my bad.
Okay, and for the fancy riders, we have the Maenad piloted by Arius. It is a squid with a Gatling gun, a Banshee, and another Gatling gun. And also for the riders, we have the Friendfish piloted by Daniel. It is a Carrowfish, front carronade, left side Banshee, right side light carronade. Interesting. So the East Chaladon Trading Company sticking with the Pyra and the Goldfish. What is the configuration on this thing? It was a Gatling and a Banshee. Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of Gatling Banshee Pyramidians, just because if you're going to go meta, you might as well go full meta. Yeah, especially against teams that's going to have chem cycles up. Although looking at it, the Maenad doesn't have chem cycles up at the moment, and their balloon is chemmed. Oh, but they suffer an armor break.
They do manage to dodge it though. Looks like the friendly fish now trying to pop the balloon of the narwhal.
Oh, Friendfish is going to ram with its armor down. It takes a chunk of permahull damage. The narwhal is on the ground here though, and the Maenad is coming up behind the Ephemeral Moth. Friendfish suffers another armor break. They are getting bansheed. Ephemeral Moth. Oh. Yeah, the Ephemeral Moth suffers about 60% permahull damage. The Maenad eats a Watcher. The Friendfish is moving over the narwhal to engage. The Ephemeral Moth to engage the narwhal. They've popped them, but I don't know if they've managed to keep the narwhal's gun arcs off of the Maenad, and they're suffering their own barrage of Banshee fire. Maenad losing pretty much all of their engines, one remaining intact. Friendfish again getting eaten by Banshees, hydroing up to get out of the Banshees down to less than 10% permahull. Maenad coming up to assist. I assume they're going to engage the Ephemeral Moth together here.
Yeah, looks like Narwhal is coming up now, so... Oh, it looks like the Friendfish is going to try to keep him low again. Okay. Might try to ram him here. Although no, he's off the building now, so it's... Oh no, actually they did.
The narwhal is bottoming out here. It is getting rammed. It could be in trouble. The Maenad is engaging the Ephemeral Moth. The two of them are sort of sitting next to one another and cuddling. The Friendfish is eating a bunch of Gatling fire. The Watcher takes a carronade shot, but it's not enough, and the Ephemeral Moth takes them out. Now the Ephemeral Moth and the narwhal will be engaging the Maenad. The Maenad might be able to get away here, although not if it continues to eat Banshee into its hull like that. Another armor break.
Very nice dots in the Watchers.
Indeed, but now they've got the problem that they've been cut off from their escape route. They're going to have to... Oh, they're ducking underneath. They've used the chute vent to execute an escape here. Will they be able to rebuild or repair their balloon in time to get up and move around this mountain? Watcher and Banshee's coming out. And they've managed to disengage, I think, there. Friendfish is coming back in. Maenad is probably going to duck into the clouds. The narwhal is probably about to find itself sans balloon. Yes, there it goes. Narwhal is falling. Friendfish eating all of the Gatling and Watcher. I'm probably going to suffer an armor break in front of a Banshee here, which is less than ideal.
Squid is coming back in though. It's probably going to... Yeah, it's popping up behind the Ethereal Moth.
Yep, the ephemeral moth taking a fair few hits to the rear with its
Oh,
with
and
this
again the
Gatling.
Hawacha.
Oh, and now they're in less than ideal spot. They're down to only 2 engines, and they do have a Gatling going into their rear, but they do have arcs in the ephemeral moth, which means that Gatling and Banshee should be coming out here. The friend fishers really hugging the bottom of the map here. Maenad taking fire, firing in turn on Ephemeral Moth. Ephemeral Moth engaging Friendfish, rams them, loses their armor. And now the Narwhal might find themselves 2 versus 1. They get the Watcher out on the Menhead, and they are firing on the Friendfish. They should be targeting the Carronade, not the armor, because if the Carronade gets a shot off on them, they are dead. There's a shot onto the Watcher. The choice to hit the Watcher, I guess because they're retreating towards blue spawn, so they know that they can catch them. I'm assuming that that's the idea there, at least. There goes the balloon.
Well, and they have the squid with them, so it's better for the squid to disable their Hawacha than to disable their balloon.
Yeah, well, actually, they are retreating towards red spawn, so the ephemeral moth. I was wrong. The ephemeral moth will be able to get back in here. Banshee's coming out on the Narwhal.
Narwhal does turn. Oh, squid. Hawacha down there and goes down.
This is bad for Friendfish. I think they're in deep stuck here. If they try and run, they'll lead a Watcher to the backside. If they try and stay and fight, then the ephemeral moth will just get Banshee them to death. And I think trying to run is gonna have both of those outcomes occur.
Yeah, they're in a. I think they might as well just die and regroup with their ally right now. They're not going to be able to get away from this position.
Yeah, they're a corpse flying.
Leaves the score of 3-1 for Team Red.
Yes, very strong performance from the East Chaladon Trading Company. Very effective. Dishing out a ton of damage with that Gatling Banshee, I think, and the Watchers have been hitting home on the Menhead very reliably. Like, disturbingly reliably. The Menhead has been without engines, I believe, 3, possibly 4 times in the last 2 engagements, which is never ideal for a squid.
Looks like blue team respawns.
Yep, forming back up together. They'll be reasonably happy to have ships with full health, although they'll be less than happy that they're also 2 points down here.
Well, the Narwhal is in a bad position because of its lost hull, but it should be more than capable to fight on themselves.
Yeah, well, I think no one wants to be 30-35% permahull down, but there are worse things to be than that if you're 2 in front. The Narwhal turning its guns to face the Menhead. The Watcher comes out. Most of it goes wide this time, and the Ephemeral Moth is taking the brunt of the Gatling fire from the
engines did take
Menhead.
some damage. So, ooh, their hull goes down. They do manage to get above him though, so. Oh, but they go above him and being heavily targeted by their Pyramidian.
So the Narwhal is falling here. They have suffered a balloon break, but they are suffering return Gatling fire from the Narwhal, and they're a bit low here. I'm not sure that. Okay, so the Narwhal pulled backwards, and the Friendfish pulled backwards with them, or rather pulled backwards away from them. So the Ephemeral Moth is now ramming the Friendfish, and the Menhead is stripping the armor of the Ephemeral Moth. They're engaging it together, but the Friendfish taking a ton of damage to its permahull there. It's down. Okay, 20%.
Who is taking going low to either do repairs, I guess.
I can't spend too long because the Narwhal has just had its balloon popped, and the Menhead is almost certainly going to help them with their hull not being on fire problems. The Menhead here is sitting in a strange position. It's between both the Ephemeral Moth and the Narwhal, and they will have an opportunity to do some fire on them. In comes the Friendfish, though. It's probably going to try and set up to pop their balloon. It doesn't, though. Although, there it goes.
Squid losing hull armor.
Menhead taking a ton of damage.
Immediately hydroing up there to prevent further damage.
The Narwhal is popped and is falling, but for whatever reason, the Blenderfish is having a very hard time keeping a single target locked to the ground. I know that the last patch made a few sort of changes that.
Ooh, another hull break on the men. Heaven? Or I'm just gonna call it squid. So much
Yeah,
easier.
a ram from
another-
the friendfish on the ephemeral moth. It breaks the armor of the friendfish that then falls into a watcher without a balloon. This is not good for them. And now the Menhead coming back in to engage the ephemeral moth, but they might find themselves here sitting in front of a banshee and a watcher. They pull out, but now they've left the friendfish sitting in front of the ephemeral moth and the narwhal. It also tries to hydro out. The ephemeral moth is popped and falling. The Menhead and the friendfish might have an opportunity to wear one of these two ships down here now. But not if that watcher goes off, and the ephemeral moth manages to turn to face the Menhead. The armor breaks on the Menhead. The banshee goes out. This could be it for them. 1%.
Oh, and it goes down.
Now the friendfish finds itself once again in this position, eating a ton of watcher. Its engines are up. It might be out of flee here. It chooses not to. It chooses to turn around and engage, and I think that might be it because the banshees are coming out. It's falling. It's popped. Oh dear! This is the end. I think.
Yeah. Very nice performance there from the East Chaladonian Trading Company.
Yes, excellent work by them, and exceptional bit of play. They, I think it's fair to say, ran rings around the Riders there.
Yeah, I was definitely not expecting this when I saw the teams, but it's really nicely done from them.
Yes, I think we can definitely extend. We can't extend rather enough congratulations to these folks. That's the result of several weeks worth of practice and coming back and continuing to try in the face of a few SCSs that have been tough for them. I think it's fair to say they've drastically improved over the past few weeks and have done a fantastic job.